have to understand that consumer's mentality. Very much, for example, with international search engine optimization, you have to get into the consumer's mind and understand how they're searching. You know, we get that request a lot from customers. Say, okay, I'm doing the search engine optimization here in the United States. Here are these 50 terms that we have identified that are good. Please translate these to German. So the very first thing we say is, no, we're not going to translate these to German to you. We're going to come up with 50 equivalent, or actually not even 50, it's not even going to be a one-to-one ratio. We're going to come up with an equivalent list of the way that Germans search for these same concepts. But it may not be using translations of those words. So just take an example. In France, there are like 2 or 3 different commonly used terms for the email. A lot of people use the anglicism email, you know, an email. So if you're doing a search engine optimization, you want people to have your searches come up with email. If you translate to the proper French word for that and just do it a one-to-one translation, where you've missed out on a big segment of the market because they're typing in Google email, the English word. So you really have to get inside the head of the consumer and think about the way that they search and customize it accordingly, not just translate it.
So how do you get in the minds of that local consumer? Because obviously, you know,
do
you sit in country and you sit next to them while they're searching?
Well, that actually is exactly what we do. That's where our global network of 2,000 highly qualified linguists come into play. We have a very strict vetting process for bringing linguists on board, and we absolutely insist that our linguists be based in country. I get asked a lot of times, you know, by people. It's like, well, and I even get, for example, job applications from people who say, you know, I'm based here in Boston, but you know, I'm from Spain. I speak very well. You know, like interested in doing some Spanish translation. We have to say, unfortunately, no, because you may be Spanish, you may speak it fluently, maybe your native tongue, you may be a great translator, but you've now removed yourself from that culture, from that local mindset. And I know this from having lived abroad many years myself in Europe and various places around Europe, that you lose touch with the common usage. You know, language changes so quickly. You lose touch with what, you know, consumers you know, consumer preferences, things like that. So the trick is you've got to use those in-country resources.